G'day Internet, Kale with Veza here to walk you through how you can use Veza's authorization graph to validate your provisioning outcomes in Okta. We'll take a simple example. I'm on the IAM team at Sigma Corp, and Dave, one of my developers, has put in a request for access to a particular storage bucket in AWS called Sigma Accounting. I head on into Okta to figure out how to grant this request, and I have almost 100 different groups to choose from, or I could create a whole new group for this. Now, whatever I do, I want to figure out two things. One, am I going to give Dave the access he needs? And if this is a commonly used resource, I might already know one or two groups that will do. More difficult is two, am I going to give Dave a bunch of access that he doesn't need? I'm supposed to maintain least privilege, so I want to answer this specific request with a nice narrow grant. Problem is, I can't know just from Okta exactly what permissions each group has in AWS, so it's really hard for me to make the right choice. And I could avoid this problem this time by creating a new group, but that's how you end up with 10 times as many groups as actual employees. It gets messy. Instead, I'm going to use the access intelligence I get from Veza to choose the appropriate group assignment for Dave. I'm using the query builder, and let's start by finding all my Okta groups. I have 92 here. But not all of these are going to have S3 access, so we'll narrow this down first to groups with access to S3, and then to the specific bucket that we want. Okay, so we have 4 groups to choose from, but which one of these is going to grant the fewest privileges overall? So we'll try another query, and this time we'll look at the total number of AWS resources these groups can access. We'll look at them together, and you can see in the graph that between them, these groups cover a big part of my AWS footprint, including virtual private clouds, EC2 instances, secure credentials, Lambda functions, S3 buckets, and database tables. So let's switch back to the query view. And if all of these groups gave that broad access, it might be time to think about creating a new one. But we see that while the engineering group has access to 146 resources, so most of what we just saw, the Sigma accounting role only gets 7. So this looks like our most appropriate choice for least privilege. We can even open this up in the graph and see exactly what permissions we'll be granting. So with Veza, instead of assigning groups in Okta with only the vaguest idea of what I'm actually granting, I'm able to validate in advance what the outcome of my provisioning action is going to be, so I can quickly give my employees the access they need and no more. And by the way, while I've shown you this example using the Veza UI, these queries are all available via API, and we've had customers build this process into their provisioning processes to automatically recommend a least privilege group for any access request. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.